When it comes to new game announcements, I really try not to get too excited, especially after I was one of the people severely burned from Cyberpunk 2077. We all know how I feel about that game now. It's one of my favorite games ever made, but another game that burned a lot of people that I luckily didn't get burned on, but unfortunately a lot of people did, was No Man's Sky. Now, it doesn't really matter though, because No Man's Sky had probably the best comeback story a video game like it has ever had. If you haven't played No Man's Sky, it's essentially this vastly generated open universe game, space adventure game. I don't really know how to describe it. There's tons of generated planets that you could go to, and they just keep updating it, or they have recently. However, the developers of that game, Hello Games, revealed their next project, and it's something that they've been working on, they've said, for the last 5 years, with it being... I can't speak, bro. Like, I literally just fucking forgot what I was gonna say. This passion project of theirs started 5 years ago from a smaller part of the studio that was working on the smaller team, because the rest of the main team was working on No Man's Sky, and they were gonna join the smaller team once No Man's Sky basically was done. We're at that time where it seems that Light No Fire is on full force. Light No Fire is a game about adventure, building, survival, and exploration, all wrapped together into a planet that is set to be the size of Earth. If you don't know, the Earth is a pretty fucking big planet. The biggest mission with Light No Sky, what? I just combined the titles of their last previous announcement. The main goal behind Light No Fire, according to the studio, is to bring the depth of role-playing games to the freedom of a survival sandbox on a very large online multiplayer type of scale that also allows you to play independently. The game promises exploration and survival in this sandbox and is going to be huge. It's going to be massive. The game looks absolutely breathtaking, but it also sounds very, very ambitious. As someone who's been burned from pre-orders, this is going to be a game that I'm reluctantly pre-ordering, because I'm actually really, really excited for this game in a really bad way. Like, I have major trust issues and I don't want to get burned by Hello Games, which is funny because, like, No Man's Sky is so good and people who play it now absolutely love it, but that game was such a fucking dumpster fire when it came out. Now, there's no solid release date yet. A lot of people are speculating that it's going to come out in 2025. Mostly this is because Hello Games has actually kind of indicated and kind of said that they don't want to repeat the same marketing tactics that they used with No Man's Sky on Light No Fire, because No Man's Sky had a vast marketing campaign, especially after it came out, to kind of save it. So some people are hoping for a late 2025 release. I think that's a little ambitious. I'm going to say 2026 is what I'm thinking. We don't even know the consoles that it's coming out to, because No Man's Sky launched on PC and PlayStation 4 and then eventually landed on Xbox One. I think it was a year or two after it came out. Obviously, they've maintained updates and expansions throughout all of those places. So Light No Fire is more than likely going to be coming to Steam. Obviously, I feel like that's day and date release. PlayStation 5 is probably day and date release, and the Series X is up in the air. I guess we just don't really know. I have a theory. I feel like I say this with every fucking third-party game. It's probably going to come on the Switch 2, just because they got No Man's Sky to run on the Switch 2. But this game kind of looks a lot more powerful, so I don't know. I guess we'll see. This game definitely is given like early Crisis vibes, where it's going to blow up my computer, and I'm totally okay with that. This was probably my favorite reveal from the 2023 Game Awards. It was up there for sure. This game is something that my friends and I have been like patiently twiddling our thumbs for in the background, mostly because of the setting. Now, with No Man's Sky, it was a procedurally, I think is how you say it, generated universe. This new title, Light No Fire, is going to be very similar, but with one planet. It's going to generate this planet in a fantasy environment. All of the characters look different from one another in a very fantasy theme, and they're trying to create a multiplayer Earth, a space that's large enough to conceivably, I guess, have room for 7.8 billion players if that was a possibility, which is the current inhabitant of our planet. But it seems that the oceans are going to be as big as ours and as deep as our own. Mountains are going to be, I guess, to scale. Like, mountains are going to be huge in this game. Just the space of the planet is going to be very vast. I guess they really want to make this a literal open world game where the planet is so large, and maybe when you load in for the first time, the game plops you somewhere that no other player has been before. It's just your playground, and maybe eventually someone will stumble upon where you are, and it will be like a fun, kind of like a Rust type of moment where you run into another player. We don't really know much, so maybe there's griefing in this game and you're able to break other people's structures. I kind of hope not, because I'm a little bitch and I would hate that shit, but it really is setting up to be hundreds of millions of square miles of space in this game. I think that is very ambitious, as I've said, but honestly, the planet generation works insanely well for No Man's Sky. So I kind of have to trust them here. Like, I really don't know. If you look at both concepts, I feel like they're almost equally ambitious, right? Because no one really did generated planets like No Man's Sky has until No Man's Sky. Obviously, it was kind of a shit show when the game launched, but it works insanely well. And they've been updating it since. Even though this is basically a universe, but in one planet to a much larger scale, I think it's kind of in the same ballpark. Hello Games has also said that they want to bring the depth, like I said earlier, of a role-playing game into the freedom of a survival sandbox. So I'm interested to see what that means for the story of this game. As we know on this channel, I'm a big story guy. I love games with really good stories, but the character creation looks really good. You can tell from the trailer you'll be able to create custom avatars for a bunch of different species: rabbit, fox, I think I saw bear, wolf, otter, human, and there's probably others. And there's definitely going to be quests. I mean, No Man's Sky has quests, and you'll be able to probably encounter small outposts full of characters. That's something I'm happy to see how that goes with the multiplayer. I really am excited for that. And I really just am overall very, very excited for this game. I mean, like I said at the start, this game looks absolutely breathtaking in every single positive way. And that's what scares me, because I really don't want to get burned by this game. Light no fire, get it? I'm gonna fucking kill my... I'm excited to see how the combat in this game works. The trailer shows you riding on like this dragon thing. Cannot wait for that. I think that's so cool. But it's really gonna be interesting to see how this feels. This may be the Lord of the Rings game that we've all been wanting for a very long time. But if you are excited for Light No Fire, let me know in the comment section down below. If you're someone who played a ton of No Man's Sky, let me know your thoughts and your opinions about this upcoming game, how you're feeling going into it. This time around, none of my friends really play No Man's Sky, so I'd love to hear it from an outside perspective, because you're hearing all this from someone who has not played No Man's Sky in like 5 years. So as you scroll down there to let me know, you're going to see a like button and a big red subscribe button. Go ahead and click both of those. It helps out the channel a lot. Seriously, thank you guys for the support recently. You guys killed it on my last like 3 videos, so I really appreciate it. This has been Nate, otherwise known as Whikked, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.